Hey guys, so gonna get another video out there because it's been a minute. Got a couple people bugging me about it or encouraging me one way or another. But either way, it's an awesome, gorgeous Sunday morning. It's really the first day that feels like fall here. So letting Waffles do his business, yank me around, and I'm gonna go hang out at the pond for a little while. There's a couple of things that I wanted to discuss. I've been more reserved, more just I want to watch things unfold. Because at this point, I don't mean to be a smartass, but I can see which directions each play takes us, and that's how the whole fate thing works. You generally have a few different directions. The whole string theory idea, you have these different directions, and you can, for the most part, figure out which path leads you to that direction. And that's how this whole time thing plays out. Now, when we come to these crossroads, like I've been discussing for the last few months now, portals open up and you can jump timelines. You can go from one to the next. And it is pretty rough going through those for folks that are just starting to do it and be aware that it's happening. It's very much like changing the radio station. You're changing a frequency, and when you do that, you get static. So if you are changing frequencies, and right now it's exactly what's happening. You're changing frequencies, you're getting static, and the whole populace is getting static. The planet is getting static. And the cool thing is we're almost there. We're on the other side of the radio station that we've been waiting for. We're just kind of tuning in now, getting all the particulars, fine-tuning, just like when you change the radio station. It's gonna be so much more intense, though, over the course of the next year. It's gonna feel better because you're gonna be acclimated to it. It's gonna happen more frequently. The frequency is going to be more intense, more... See, this is the thing. You've got ley lines all over the planet, much like how your chakra system works, how your central nervous system works. There's a central nervous system on the planet, and that's essentially the ley lines. Now, the ancients were able to tap into that. That's where you built the pyramids. You've got all of these different structures that actually take the power of the planet and radiate it out for us, the conscious beings, to use. Now, at one point in time, we have gone through a fall where we had to deal with lower dimensional beings, in a sense, coming and taking over our domain and breaking all of that stuff, breaking that connection, breaking our links to that past. So that's where you lose, the whole Atlantis and Lemuria and the ancient Egyptian, metaphysical teachings and what have you, esoteric teachings, all those different, even the stuff that Jesus was trying to teach that, didn't make it into the Bible, and the Kabbalah, all that stuff is roughly on the same lines. There's little subtle differences here and there, but they're all talking about the same stuff. So if you ever want to look into that, just, rewind, Listen to all those things. You got the green tablets. Basically, all of it comes from Thoth. Thoth was also Hermes. The Greeks called him Hermes. The Hermetic teachings. All of it is the same stuff, you guys. If you get into that, that's when you're going to start opening doors. It's what Buddha was opening up. You know, all those guys came around the same time, like Confucius, Buddha, Aristotle. They were all popping up around the same time because it's nature. Nature, when you have things like today, let me give you this, hold on, Waffles. Let me give you this tidbit. Then you can kind of visualize it a little bit. Alright. So, nowadays, you've got all of the ley lines that would otherwise have pyramids and all kinds of cool stuff. You know what? I'm going to even turn around. That way we can have the pond. You would have all these pyramids, all these monuments, all these things that would otherwise tap into the energy grid of the planet. So right now we don't have those things. What they did sporadically throughout where these ley lines and where these monuments and where all these things used to be, now what they're doing is putting slaughterhouses, you know, huge slaughterhouses, you know, for our food, fucking cows and pigs and chickens, put all that stuff all on these ley lines. Also put prison systems and you know, like big old fucking trash facilities and recycling facilities and dumps and all of these like low energy, low vibration things on the ley lines. So once you do that, guess what's happening? Now you have a lower vibration system feeding into these ley lines, keeping them low and keeping the planet in a third dimension state, if you will. So you have a fifth dimension planet with fifth dimensional creatures, entities, us on them, and then you break it back down a notch or two. That's essentially, in a nutshell, what has taken place. So what nature is trying to do, what the planet is trying to do, is ascend back into that with all of these cosmic energies pushing through. It's one of those things, you know, it is inevitable. It is going to happen no matter how hard the lower dimensional fucking vibrations try to make it. It's going to eventually excel back to its natural state of being. It's almost like when you ring a bell or ring a gong, you're going to go in there and you're going to disrupt it, and it's going to be off key and it's going to vibrate wrong and it's going to do its thing, but eventually it's going to fall back in line. It's going to fall back into place where its natural state of being is. I want you to understand there are two laws that you're going to have to really pay attention to. It's the laws of physics and your own moral code. Those two are the only laws that you really have to worry about in life, because if you follow those, you know, you're not going to fall off path, and you're not going to lose your way. You're not going to lose your spirit, if you will. You know, you're going to be like Waffles, always happy, always full of life and joy. That's you. Always follow your moral code, and that's the one we fall off of. You know, we let other people's rules and regulations interfere with our own moral code. We let our own moral code be perverted by those around us, and that's the problem with society today. You need to follow your own moral code. The one thing that I'd like to say, and I feel pretty good about being able to say this honestly. It's probably the most self-righteous thing that I can say, probably. I'm thinking about it, and there's nothing else that I'm more proud. All my life, society and friends, family, all of the above, tried to mold me into this particular thing. And even if they didn't try to, it's like society wanted them to make me into something. And that's how everyone is. You feel like the world is trying to mold you into being a particular you that you don't necessarily feel comfortable being. You don't want to be that person. So the whole moral code thing is you figuring out what that moral code is and living by it, and only do what feels right by you. Don't go do something because somebody else. Do it because of you. And at this stage in life, no matter how hard, no matter how tough things got, no one was ever able to really steer me away from me, my craziness, my self-expression, my intuition, my exploration. I got to be, that kid. I still get to be that kid all of my life, getting to turn over rocks, getting to ask questions that, just seem annoying, but, if I don't know, I need to ask a fucking question. Aristotle was the kind of guy that went around and just asked people questions, roamed around on the street in rags, much like your Jesus figure, and went and incited conversations with well-to-do types and asked them relevant questions. And he got to understand how people worked. He used to get asked, because he had such a scornful wife, a terrible, mean, and nasty woman, and they would ask, how are you, such a good guy with this just nasty, scornful woman? And he replied, you don't go and call the best horse trainers for taming the tamest of horses. They get called the best horse trainers by training the wildest of horses. And I always loved that quote. It was kind of funny. That's the thing with us as twins. We don't go on this journey to be just pedal footing around and be like everyone else and have these, weenie little experiences. It's intense one way and intense the other way, and it's our job to bring it to a center, this balance. The thing that I haven't really figured out until recently, and it beats the shit out of me why I didn't put two and two together on this one. But my twin is always about perfection. Like her whole thing is perfection. Okay, it's everything's got to be aesthetically pleasing and perfect and perfection. The Virgo concept, if you will, you guys. Get out of the street. That's a no, sir. Come. Me, I'm more about balance. I'm actually 8 hours from the cusp, the very center point of Scorpio changing into Sagittarius. 8 hours after I was born, Sagittarius happened. So I am on the side of Scorpio, but I also have a lot of those Sagittarius traits, and those are two signs that really they're fire and water, you guys. So you could imagine. Now, if you have fire and water and you're balanced, then you are the cusp. It's the cusp of revolution is the name of that cusp. So my twins is on the cusp of beauty, and then I'm on the cusp of revolution. What do revolutions bring? They bring balance. They bring order. They may bring chaos at the very start because you're changing that frequency. You're going to get the static in between. You're going to have a new paradigm. Revolutions are meant to take place in order to excel humanity, to excel the cosmos, to excel us as a human species. And when you go stale, when you go stagnant, when you don't have a revolution, when you don't have growth, when you don't have expansion, when you don't have the ability to become a human being again, break free from your boxes, walk outside, feel the wind blowing in your hair, feel the cosmos, the cosmic energy falling down upon you. As a matter of fact, this is my hiking solar eclipse shirt. I wanted to show that off now that I thought about that. Look, see, we got the flag. You know what? Fuck the NFL, dude. Watching football is fun and all, but watching a bunch of rich cocksuckers get even richer, and they don't even have to pay taxes, you guys. So all you guys out there wearing your $50 hats with your little gold fucking things, I mean, that's fucking a $5 hat. It's a $10 hat. Who gives a fuck? Stop worrying about what society thinks about you, what people think about you. Don't go and spend $50 on a hat, you guys. What the hell's wrong with you? They don't even pay taxes on that. There's a bunch of rich cocksuckers. The people that you ultimately want to defeat are making billions of dollars. They fucking have us, the taxpayers, go and build the stadiums, and then they go and charge the fucking taxpayers goddamn hundreds of dollars to go and sit in them, to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to fucking other rich cocksuckers, and then they fucking have the audacity to say, you know what, I'm not gonna play these games anymore. Look, you're in a fucking circus, bro. You are the gladiators. Go and fucking stand at attention and say, yes, massa, and all the above. Say, yes, sir, Roman. That's what the whole thing is all about. So if you get paid millions of dollars to go be in a spectacle, to go be a fucking a Roman gladiator, and you go and stand in front of the fucking the emperor and start jerking off, yeah, everyone's gonna like say boo in the stadium. And that's in a nutshell what's happening. And I love it, dude. People are waking up. See, everyone is going to get so upset. But for me, it's exciting because now those people are like, what? These people don't even pay taxes? I mean, of course the players pay taxes, but the owners, the NFL, it's like a church. So, you know, the church of the NFL, they don't pay taxes on all those billions. They take it and they put it in their rich fucking cocksole pockets, and they fuck you some more and go build another stadium. It's time for you to stand up and say, no, sir, I'm not watching this. I'm not going to go and buy the stuff that sponsors you either. I'm not going to go and spend my money on rich corporate cocksuckers anymore. I'm going to go and spend my money on the little guy. Because guess what? The little guy deserves to be a little bit bigger. And those rich corporate cocksuckers deserve to fail. They're not too big to fail. They need to fall on their fucking asses. And it's up to us to go and vote that way. We don't go and vote for another rich cocksucker that goes and jerks them off in the back room right before the fucking elections. No, we go and vote for the stuff that they fucking don't sell. We go and buy the shit that you got in like little local farmhouses and local townhome communities and what have you. Go and buy the fucking vegetables from the guy that's growing them next door. Go and get your hair cut and the dog's fucking groomed by the local haircutting and dog grooming place. Don't go to the fucking Walmart. Go to your local like Hy-Vee up there in the Midwest. Or what do we got down here? You got the Aldi's. The Aldi's is pimp because guess what they're doing? They don't charge you monies for like fucking extra monies for food. They charge you a quarter. They rent you a quarter to put in there for your little cart. That way you put the cart back and you're not such a slub and you leave it out there in the fucking middle of the way. You know, there's little things that I like, that I see in people's grocery stores and other little mom and pop shops that make me want to go and buy more stuff from them. The little hole-in-the-wall Mexican grocery store down the road has awesome sopes and tacos and flautas and all kinds of, like, tamales, all kinds of authentic Mexican food. Now, growing up in California, I love the hell out of some authentic Mexican food. You know, there used to be like folks doing that shit door to door, like an old grandma with a fucking like Red Ryder wagon and a cooler in there full of tamales and stuff, knocking on doors. Hey, you want to buy some tamales? Hell yeah, we want to buy some tamales. So you don't have that here in Georgia, but the next best thing is I can drive down the road, go to the little Mexican grocery store, and buy the hell out of that stuff. Now, I eat a lot of food. Some folks just don't know what a lot of food fucking is. When you go and eat like a small family, like 3 or 4 people's worth of food, and the same amount of food that they eat during their dinner, you're gonna fucking eat all that food too. People fucking figure it out real quick, like in a hurry. In order to vibrate at such a high frequency, and you know, and if you don't drink coffee or like any of these like energetic things, and you're never on these uppers and none of these fucking things that just make you bounce off the wall, you start becoming that way naturally. Now, through the month of September, I kind of fucked up, you guys. I ate all kinds of just bad food, like chips and dip, bags of chips, you know, like corn, soy, and wheat are all GMO. You want to stay away from all that shit. And even I am starting to feel the effects. I used to be able to just eat whatever the fuck I want. Now I'm getting to the stage where my body is actually feeling it. Like when I eat some like Fritos, some fucking GMO corn chips, you know, I'm like, oh, my stomach. It's noticeable now. I actually feel radiation coming off microwaves. I can feel like the EMF waves coming off my computer and my phone, you know, and the heat from it. Like, I'm feeling that shit. I'm getting sensitive enough to where I can tap into the stuff that other people just aren't even aware of. When I get around like big towers and big electrical fucking plants, it's like, ugh, it's like fucking nails on the chalkboard almost. It's getting rough. So the whole thing with you going through these experiences, right now, the last month has been intense as fuck. So a lot of it is the EMF, the frequency's changing, and your brain's trying to acclimate to it. So we talked about the Schumann resonance. Well, the Schumann resonance is spiking, and you think that you're not going to be affected by it. You're going to feel it. It's going to be like nails on the chalkboard. You're going to be like, holy shit, what the hell's going on? And that is what's taking place. Now, if you unplug and get out and be amongst some trees and some nature and let some cosmic energy flow through you, you're gonna start balancing back out. Once again, I'm all about that balance. You know, I got on a tangent. I got away from what I even was talking about earlier, so sorry to bounce back to it, but I'm gonna let you guys in on what I was talking about earlier, because I'm sure you were like, what the fuck were you talking about? So she is all about perfection, and I'm all about balance. Back to that real quick. The whole thing about perfection is balance. You can't have perfection without balance. The art of perfection is the balance between the two ways. So, between the all ways. And no matter how many ways there could be 12 ways, and you can be balanced right in the center of the 12. That is ultimately perfection. So all the while we thought we were after two different things, I'm after balance, she's after perfection, we're still after the same thing. I miss her a whole lot, you guys. I've been feeling her so much recently. It's like it's like she's right there, and it's felt so good to have that feeling. I felt like that connection was lost, like it was broken, but I think she's finding her way. I think I'm finding my way. The thing about this awakened twin thing, you might be awakened, but you're still finding your way too. You're still dealing with your shit. And you may be, like, being awake is actually the harder part. Because how are you able to not live in expectation if you can see the things happen? If you already know fate and you understand, like, your past lives, and you've seen all of the horrors and all of the splendor, and you understand the wheel that continuously takes place, the clock that just keeps going, the wheel that keeps turning. Like, how do you break away from that? How do you not have expectations? How do you just live day to day and enjoy life and the little things while knowing the big picture? So the awakened twin actually has the harder journey, has they're the ones fucking up. They're the ones saying, hey, this, that, and the other before it fucking happens. And then it just so happens to happen, and then you look like a fucking crazy person. Or you look really cool. One of the two, depending on, it's all that human concept. The good and evil thing. One might look good, one may look evil. Fucking couple 100 years ago, you may have been looked at as a witch. I've had past lives where I was a fucking heretic and had my hands cut off and been burned alive and some scary fucking shit, eh? You have dreams about that stuff? No wonder you're a fucking freaked out little kid. So yeah, if you're talking to yourself about, this, that, and the others happened, and fucking having dreams and all kinds of stuff, if you're finding this as a newly awakened twin and have all these weird things that have happened. My twin didn't even like to dream when I met her. She told me she didn't dream anymore. One would imagine she didn't dream anymore because she didn't like the dreams that she was having. Otherwise, why wouldn't you? So I put two and two together on that one. But after I came into her life, she started dreaming again. She started to tell me about these dreams. And she has the same sight as I do. Hopefully she's been able to figure it out and understand how it all works, and she's out there kicking some ass and taking some names and riding through the astral plane, knowing that's her shit. That's her fucking canvas. That's there for her to rule and to own and to say bam. That's what it's there for, you guys. It's our palace. It's our canvas. It's to help us remember. That's why we have to sleep. Once we're fifth dimensional beings, sleep actually becomes a lot less needed. But that journey between the two worlds is all about the sleep. I think that's even why death, in a way, falls into place. So, the Egyptians, now this is just some Akashic stuff, but I don't even know if this is true or not. You guys can look this up. I would imagine it's true because I'm pulling out of the Akashic. But, so the Egyptians ended up seeing the interdimensional beings, the aliens, going into these sarcophaguses, if you will. Hyperbolic chambers, if you will. That's what we think about, a hyperbolic chamber. Making someone go into a cryogenic state. That's what I'm searching for. Cryostasis. So you've seen the space movies where you get in and you motherfucking like go to sleep for years and years and years, and you wake up to your destination. Well, that's plausible. That's what sleep is. So what we are doing in a sleep state is naturally turning that method on. Now, some of us go into comas, and there's no reason for us to be in a coma, but we can't snap out of a coma, you know. I'm not saying that, hey, I've been in a coma, but, you know, there's human beings out there. That's them. That's how they get into these comas. Now, that whole time they're in the astral, they're having fun, playing, they're living in a whole nother world. They don't even know that body's here. For all we know, we are in a coma somewhere. We are in a dream world right now, and when we fall asleep, we wake back up into the astral. And this 3D dimension is all just a simulation. It's a dream. As far as we know, that's what it is, because when we're dreaming, it feels real. You know, it's hard to really say, oh man, I'm sleeping right now. You feel in that dream. And here in this 3D world, it's much of the same concept. Everything feels so real. It's hard to wake up. And it's a lot harder to wake up out of the 3D realm than it is the 4D. Okay? One day you're going to just wake up in the 5D. There's certain days where you do wake up in the 5D. And us, the shaman, the twin flame, the fucking far out intuitives, they get to walk between both worlds. That's why they fucking are so different. And you can't get a hold of them in the 3D. Like, the reason why I haven't ever been like converted, if you will, if I haven't been broken, that's exactly it. I haven't ever been broken. I haven't ever been converted. I'm still that little kid. If you haven't ever experienced that, you know, that's something that I can't tell you. I can't tell you how it is. Remember what it's like to be that kid and to turn over those rocks and to do things just because. You know, a lot of the times I didn't know why the fuck I was doing things. I did it to see what the fuck would happen. And as a kid, you don't know what the fuck would happen, and you're trying to explain to your kids what will happen if this takes place. So the best thing to do is let that scientific mind just go and explore and do things and figure it out. That's what we need to do. We try to curve that enthusiasm, try to curve that scientific thought process, that imagination. That's what makes us us. It took so long for me to figure out, like, my twin is the most beautiful. She's smart. She's such a hard worker. She's a good person. She's always the biggest person. Her imagination. That's what I fell in love with. That's what no one else has that I've ever met in my life. That's what still gets me, her imagination. I always thought that I was the most imaginative little shit out there, you know? But that's not true. She can match my imagination in every way possible, and that is why I love her more than anything else out there in the cosmos. That's our connection. And when you figure that out, that whole unconditional love thing, that all those little stupid things, it's like, who gives a fuck? You know, it's silly as hell, but I bite my fingernails and I spit them into the passenger side of my car. So there's like on the dash, there's little fingernails, and on the passenger seat. Whenever I got into her car, little fingernails all over her dash, on the seat, in the fucking side of the armrest. Those little things like that is when you know this is your twin. Like other things, like those things are how you feel home. And I know other people are like, ew, but that's the thing, you know, the things that would make you say ew are the things that like make my heart flutter. And that's got to be the other way around, you know. The main things that I would say, ew, you know, would make your heart flutter. And you got to find your crazy, your twin, you know, your match, your thing that wrenches your gut, that makes you take a step back. Like I knew damn well that I wasn't ready for her. Like she's way too perfect, way too amazing, way too special for me to come into her life and fuck it up, you know what I mean? And that's how I honestly felt, and that's how we feel when we honestly come in contact with our twin. The one thing that I started this journey on this YouTube journey was talking with her to you guys, imagining that I'm talking to her. So maybe one day she'll stumble upon this and she'll see it and know that this is meant for her. You know, I'm talking to her ultimately. And my first videos, you can see that, you know, you can feel that, you can feel the emotion and what have you. And I understand why those are the things that people would want. And in a way, you know, I need to get back to that and talk with her, because that was therapeutic for me. It was like the things that I would otherwise need to get off my chest and I can't tell her, I can put on this video and put it out there, and I know that one day somewhere she's going to see it, find it, and she's going to understand like where I'm at, what I'm feeling. She's going to be likely the only one that truly can understand exactly. But also, you guys need to understand that there's a lot of dark shit out there. And the brighter you are, the darker the shadow you're going to cast. So you need to remember those darker aspects of things. You need to not hide them away like they're nothing to be brought to the surface. They're all meant to be brought to the surface. Your darkest aspects need to be out there for everyone to see, because that's how you stay in check. All the time I've questioned, why me? You know, why am I given these tasks, or given these energies to hold, or given these intense powers, if you will? And it's because I do ask those questions, and I do put myself in check and keep myself in check. And some people aren't capable of doing that. Some people aren't capable of being the bigger person. And there are little things that have taken place in my life, and people ask, how do you know? You know, there's little steps that happen, little tidbits, little breadcrumbs. People come into your lives. A show gives you a fucking message. You know, a movie may give you a message. You may just have a stick fall in front of you in a particular, you know, fashion to startle you while you're thinking about something, and then that makes you think like, well, fuck, maybe I'm needing to rethink that situation. You know, little things like that will happen in your life, and that's how you know. That's how you have this intuition, and if you ignore it and you ignore the feeling that you're feeling inside, that's ultimately God speaking to you. That's the cosmos trying to steer you in one direction. And you're listening to society, you're listening to your parents, you're listening to your siblings, you're listening to your fucking counselors, you know, you're listening to the fucking people on TV, on movies, fucking Entertainment Tonight. You're listening to what these schmucks have to say. Come on, guys, snap the fuck out of it. It's all fun and games until you get your eyes poked out. People sign their lives away. That's what all of this is about. In this world, you always want to sign your life away. Sign something. Sign on the written lines. It's all spells. It's all enchantments in order to entice you into becoming something you're not. I mean, where in the world can you go and just be a free fucking sovereign and wild human being nowadays? Where the fuck can I just go and take some rocks and sharpen them and fashion them to a stick and go and hunt some fucking wild game? Where can I just go and forage for some tubers? Where are you allowed to just go and grow your own fucking food and have your own livestock in your own front yard? Half of America, you're not even allowed to do that shit anymore, and it's sickening. It fucking makes me sick. So when people want to protest the sick shit that's going on in this country, I don't feel bad about them protesting it. But when you want to go and fucking not give corporate asshole cocksucker motherfuckers even more money, I'm even like ecstatic about that. So guess what? Once again, I'm on the balanced end. I don't give a fuck if those people kneel during the national anthem. They have every right to do so in this country. They can go and fucking wipe their ass with it if they deem necessary. And somebody can go and fucking clock them in the back of the skull with a goddamn lead pipe if they deem necessary. That shit is all your fucking sovereign right. You can go and I live by the moral code of George Carlin, y'all. George Carlin put it all out there. That's exactly the way you need to do it. You motherfucking go and hit that motherfucker with a lead pipe. If you kill him, you may have to serve a sentence, you know, because of those laws. If he wakes up the next day and all is well, you may get an aggravated assault charge, which may even be fucking thrown out of court because the judge thinks you're an alright guy that you clocked the motherfucker because he was wiping his ass with the flag. All of it is things that are possibly outside of your realm of expectations if you go and take a blunt object and fucking hit somebody with it, though. If you never did and you let that guy just wipe his ass with it, then maybe somebody else will clock him with the fucking lead pipe and you won't have to be involved. Think through all of the different particulars. Have the imagination to see through all of the different particulars. The thing is, these reptilian motherfuckers, these dark entities, these horrible fucking narcissistic personalities out there trying to control you on a small scale and control you on a large scale are all after and doing the same thing. They're all fucking following these rules, these laws. They're not following the laws of physics. They're not following moral codes. They have no moral codes. Okay? You have to follow your moral code in order to keep your soul, keep your dignity, be able to sleep at night, be able to fucking not have post-traumatic stress disorder. You know what I'm saying? And not have fucking crazy manipulative thoughts. Be able to like fucking still hold your pillow at night and go, motherfucking sleep well, dude. Fucking enjoy some life. Walk around in the woods and feel good about yourself. Some people walk outside in the woods and they start thinking about things that haunt them. Well, guess what? You need to fucking deal with those things. You need to accept those things. You need to you need to make those shadows relevant in your life. You need to bring them to the surface. You need to express what happened during that time, why it was bad, why you made an error, why you made a mistake. All of the things that you need to accept for yourself to make it through those things, you need to accept, you need to bring to the surface, you need to do. Otherwise, you're going to die an unhappy man. You're going to die an unhappy woman. You're going to fucking fail the game of life. You know, I've succeeded in the game of life this far because no one has been able to break my spirit, break my imaginative intuition. No one has been able to say, Brian, you know, this is the box that you're supposed to be in. This is the category that you're supposed to be in. No one has been able to fucking put a category on me. No one has been able to put me in a box. No one has ever been able to take away my sovereignty, my imagination. That's winning the game of life, you guys. So on that note, I want to bid you guys a fond farewell for now. I want you to think about the ley lines. And I want you to think about how you tap into those as much like the planet Earth goes through certain cosmic rays as it travels through around the Milky Way, okay, around the center of the Milky Way. There were higher beings that understood certain points through each of these revs around the cosmos, if you will. We're going to be going through different stages, much like the stages of the calendar. You know, much like fall, winter, yada yada, much like, you know, your zodiac calendar. As you travel through the cosmos, you encounter different energies, different frequencies, different God energy. And things inevitably change. Frequencies take place. Now you can be left behind, you guys. You can stay in the 3D. You have that right. Or you can jump forward. You can jump into the 5D. But you have to make that decision. You have to let go of all that pain and anguish and suffering. You have to say, you know what, I don't need the suffering anymore. I don't need that ball and chain holding me back. I can float up to the next dimension. I can have a light heart. You know, back in the day, the Egyptians would weigh your heart, and if it weighed less than a feather, then you could make it into heaven, the afterlife. Keep a light heart, you guys. Live light-hearted life. Live every moment experiencing the world around you in that moment. The thing that I was held back through this journey is because of my expectations. Because I'm able to see things further ahead, and I'm able to travel to those things, and I'm able to travel behind, and I can always go back and have those memories, relive that memory in its finest minute details. Experience that memory. But why sit in those moments experiencing memories that have already taken place? Why not experience the moment that you're feeling right now?
Why live in those few moments that you've lived, that you felt like, oh yeah, I had that moment of glory. I'm going to live in that moment for the rest of my life. Why not make more moments of glory? Why not excel? Why not become better? Even more glorious? You have to accept that, you know what? I am going to become more glorious. Become more glorious, you guys. Peace. I love you.